Well, damn. What has come over Bill Belichick? I know the Patriots had a lot of cap space going into this offseason, but I didn't think they were going to spend money like they had just hit the lottery. New England is one of a handful of teams in the NFL that had a financial advantage going into this offseason because the salary cap dropped 10, 20% due to the COVID last year. Most teams find themselves in the position of restructuring contracts to get under the salary cap. We've seen the Saints, for example, have to restructure a lot of their contracts because they were so far over the cap. Even with the cap space that they had available, it never crossed my mind that Bill Belichick would be this active in free agency. He spent $200 million bringing players to New England Monday. That is more money spent in 2021 than in any other offseason in the history of the New England Patriots. This is unprecedented. This is uncharted territory. So naturally, it got me to wondering, got me to thinking, why is Bill Belichick doing this? Why is he going against what's worked for 20 years and redesigning his whole strategy of how he builds teams in New England? Now, the second question is easy to answer. It's something that we talked about on Sunday. Bill Belichick doesn't have the time to wait on players in the draft to develop. He doesn't have time to build this roster through the draft because Bill Belichick is in win now mode. In the past, he rebuilt through the draft, but he had a stacked roster too. He had veterans on the team that he could count on. He didn't have to worry about having holes at the wide receiver position because he knew he had a quarterback who could elevate just about anybody that he put on the field with him. You can't depend on Cam Newton to do that. Cam Newton is not Tom Brady. I know that's obvious, but Cam Newton is not Tom Brady. He has to have competent players around him to be successful. If he doesn't, you get a version of Cam Newton that we saw last season. A one-dimensional offense, a one-dimensional quarterback, a quarterback who falls back on running the football because he doesn't trust his receivers. I know there are some questioning Bill Belichick's greatness after last season. First year without Tom Brady. New England misses the playoffs. First losing season since the early 2000s. I was actually impressed with Bill Belichick last year. It's a damn miracle that he was able to get the Patriots to 7-9 with that roster that they had. That was a 4-12 roster. Yeah, the defense was good, but the offense was on life support damn near the entire year. They needed a guy like Jonnu Smith, who they just signed, one of the better tight ends in the NFL. Now, I understand Bill Belichick bringing someone like that in. I get it. And he got him on a good deal. This is a terrible time in the NFL to be a free agent because so many teams are cash strapped. So a team like the Patriots, they don't have to get into a bidding war to sign these players. Now, let's get back to the first question, the why. Why is Bill Belichick acting uncharacteristically? We know the Patriots had holes on this roster going into the offseason. They had the same holes last season. We know Cam Newton needs all the help that he can get. But Bill Belichick has never changed his style for anybody before. Hell, Tom Brady begged him for years to bring in talent through free agency. Bill Belichick wouldn't budge. If he won't change his style for the greatest quarterback to ever touch an NFL field, then what in the hell has made him suddenly do it now? People don't usually change their ways at 68 years old. Once you get to that age, you are who you are. So why the sudden change with Bill Belichick? I think it has everything to do with the fact that Tom Brady just won another Super Bowl his first year out of New England, and the Patriots missed the playoffs last year with a roster that wasn't close to Super Bowl contention. I don't think Bill Belichick would be doing this if he were 58 years old and had another 10 or so years to coach in the NFL. He would rebuild through the draft just like he has the last 20 years. But he knows that he doesn't have that kind of time. And he wants that additional championship to prove that he can win without Tom Brady. Which, it kind of makes me concerned with Bill Belichick. What do we talk about on here all the time? Never make decisions based on emotion. All of this feels like an emotional decision. It feels like it's a rash decision from Bill Belichick. If Tom Brady doesn't win another Super Bowl last year, do you think Bill Belichick is breaking the bank this offseason? He's a competitive guy. Bill Belichick's a competitive guy, but you know he is out for blood next season because he just watched his former quarterback win a Super Bowl. All of these moves that he's making right now, it almost feels like he's leading the Patriots on a revenge tour. How else can you explain paying Nelson Aguilar $26 million over 2 years? Are you kidding me? You're giving Nelson Aguilar Alvin Kamara type money? Kamara's a perennial Pro Bowler, a game changer. Even though he's a running back, he's worth the money because he gives you results on the field. I understand the need to get Cam Newton some help at the wide receiver position. I get it. N'Keal Harry, as his only option, is not going to cut it. But paying Nelson Aguilar $12 million a season is insanity. And it's un-Belichickian. Yes, I just made up that word, un-Belichickian. This is a deal Bill Belichick never would have signed off on just 12 months ago. Nelson Aguilar has never had a 1,000-yard season. He's been in the NFL for 6 years. He averages about 4 touchdowns a year. Now, I'll tell you what Nelson Aguilar is great at. If you're looking for a receiver who can't catch the ball consistently, Nelson Aguilar is your guy. He's near the top of the league every season in drop passes. He has 12 drops since 2018. Basically, 5% of the time that he is targeted, he's going to drop the ball. Now, that might not seem like a big number, but it is. I remember when he was with the Eagles, fans in Philadelphia could not wait to get him out of town. Now, to be fair, Bill Belichick did make some decent free agent deals. He got Cam Newton, a big target in Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, though I think he overpaid both of them. He got a great pass rusher in Matthew Judon. There were 3 or 4 other pieces that he added too, but those were the 2 or 3 major deals that happened on Monday in New England. Now, as far as tight end Jonnu Smith is concerned, his $12.5 million per year salary is the largest amount that Bill Belichick has paid any player besides his quarterback. Again, the entire Patriot Way that we've heard about for years in New England is changing. There's now a new Patriot Way in Foxborough. Now, will all of these new additions make the Patriots a contender? Here's the thing. All of these signings made a splash in the news cycle on Monday because this is so uncharacteristic of Bill Belichick. That is the only reason that any of this is news. If a team like the Miami Dolphins had picked up Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, it would be a little blurb on the news ticker at the bottom of the ESPN screen. It would not be breaking news. Sports radio shows wouldn't interrupt their broadcast and start talking about it. Why is that? Why is that? Because all of these players that Bill Belichick is bringing in, they're not impact players. Now, Jonnu Smith, I think, is an impact player, but the rest of them, they're not impact players. Nelson Aguilar is a number 2 receiver at best, more like a number 3 option. Hunter Henry, he's a decent tight end, but he's not a Travis Kelce or a Gronk. The Patriots will be good again defensively, and they should be better offensively in 2021. Hell, I mean, they couldn't get any worse. They had nowhere to go but up. But I'm not convinced that any of these new signings make them contenders. Have they closed the gap on the Kansas City Chiefs? No. Have they closed the gap on the Bills in the AFC East? No. Buffalo's the clear favorite to win that division. Will New England be better than they were last year? Well, of course they will. There's no doubt about it. I could see these new signings taking them from 7-9 to 9-7, maybe 10-6 at best. They'll be that annoying underdog wildcard team that you really don't want to see in the playoffs, but a Super Bowl contender? That's a bit of a stretch. And that's all that matters at this point, the Patriots being Super Bowl contenders. This isn't Cliff Kingsbury and the Arizona Cardinals, where just making the playoffs is an accomplishment, a step in the right direction. This is the damn New England Patriots we're talking about, with what will be a 69-year-old head coach with 6 championship rings. At this point in his career, it's Super Bowl or bust for Bill Belichick. You know it's bothering him that Tom Brady already has another championship and is going to be the favorite in the NFC to make it back to the Super Bowl this upcoming season, while Bill Belichick is overpaying for role players and has a broken down Cam Newton at quarterback that is half the player that he was just 5 or 6 years ago. The Patriots are no closer to Super Bowl contention now than they were Monday morning before they signed everybody. The prognosis for Bill Belichick getting that elusive Super Bowl win without Tom Brady is not looking good. What do you guys think of this different approach by Bill Belichick and the Patriots? Do these free agent signings make them Super Bowl contenders this upcoming season? If you think so, convince me. Sound off in the comments below. Tell me why. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.